And we are live. What's up, Stu?
What's up, Jim?
How are you? I noticed
Good.
something this morning.
What's that?
I was the only person working out.
Oh,
Like,
in your neighborhood?
no, like in a 5 square mile place when I went for my walk to warm up, and then I'm working out in the comfort of my open breezeway, in the wind and 32 degrees. I didn't see anyone else working out, Stu. Does that make me crazy? What does that make me?
That's a good question. Because I've been called crazy for doing the exact same thing. Um, but it's just different. Some
Okay.
people choose to do their workouts not at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. and 30-degree outside air.
But
Some people do.
I don't see them heading to the Y. It's not like when I'm
Oh yeah.
driving by, I see those cars that I see with snow and ice on them. I don't see them in the Y parking lot and stuff,
Yeah.
and
Well, some people are evening workout folks as well, so maybe they worked out later in the evening and are sleeping in. So
okay, all right,
get it
yeah,
done whenever you can, Jim. That's the
that's
goal.
right. I understand, but what I'm saying, my point is that sometimes it's difficult, or if you're the only one doing something, even though this is what, if you're going to reach your goals, you got to do this. It can be lonely to do things by yourself. It can also be empowering, and depending on how you interpret it and all that stuff. But running through the woods and jumping over obstacles and doing that stuff by yourself, your spouse will look at you like you're insane, and you really don't want the neighbors to know because they'll think that you're weird and it's like another Ruby Ridge thing. But the point that I'm trying to make is that there are going to be things in your business where when you first start doing them and you're doing them consistently, you look around and you're like, nobody else is doing this. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't be doing it, because most of the time, the hard stuff that you should be doing, other people aren't doing.
Yeah. That's a good point, Jim, because I remember, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, whenever I started my business, you get the comments of like, oh, okay, when you getting a real job?
Yeah.
you know, uh,
Hey, Denise, I didn't know you married an aerobics instructor.
yeah, when you getting a real job? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, and then another one was I remember, I think I got it in like 2000 or no 99. I figured out, oh, I can do a cool email address instead of go to AOL all the time. I can do a @stewsmith.com email address, and
Uh-huh.
that blew everybody away. They're like, "How'd you do that?"
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, but sometimes you're the first one out there comparatively to your friends and people that you're around all the time, and they don't understand exactly your goals and
Right.
how you're going to build the foundation to really move to the next level.
Right, in all areas of life. And
Yep.
sometimes you gotta be willing to step out there even for yourself. Like, sometimes when you're looking at this, why are you doing this, and you better have a good answer,
Yeah.
because as soon as you ask a why question when you're doing something hard and you don't have a good answer, that's
Yeah.
when you're going to stop.
I have written about that a lot, especially for my young folks that are going in spec ops selection programs. You better have a good why, because there's going to be a moment of truth that will occur. And that usually comes with a question like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Right.
Right? If you don't have a good answer ready to go, it's it's a hard discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the other things that I think about, because I do a lot of thinking, I've really kind of perfecting for me this whole walk and talk thing. I use when I go for long walks in the morning in the dark, I usually have my Otter app on my phone, and I talk about things, and I just pretend like I'm talking on the phone in case I ever do see somebody, because walking around with a headlamp on, appearing to talk to yourself on a country road at 5:30 in the morning may result in guns coming out. It's just weird. So I'm acting like I'm talking on the phone to somebody.
Smart.
So then I think through some things. And one of the things that I thought I was thinking about and I want to talk about today is one of the problems that people have, especially as entrepreneurs, is not a lack of choices, but a lot of choices. When you're an entrepreneur, when you have that entrepreneurial bite, you have that tendency to do the squirrel bright shiny object thing. And it's hard sometimes to stay focused on one thing, or you try and bring a whole lot of things along at the same time. But we all know that you can't do bench press, dips, and run at the same time. You got to focus on one thing at a time to be able to get results. Now you can move from one thing to the next when you're done with the thing that you're doing right now. And so I discovered something that you're very familiar with about 15, 20 years ago. It's called the Carver Method.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of adapted that for evaluating stuff entrepreneurially. And I would like for you to explain what the Carver Method is and how people use it, and then let's talk about how we could apply that entrepreneurially.
Okay. Well,
is that cool?
Carver Method is an acronym, and is actually used by actually was developed by special forces, Army Special Forces groups that were assessing targets.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have an enemy position, you would have a potential target, and now you wanted to kind of dig down a little deeper into where their strengths and weaknesses were. Mm-hmm. And if you did damage it, what reaction would that cause, as well as how long will it be affected, things like that. So Carver actually stands for criticality. Okay. I'll go slow on this one. Criticality, or you can say maybe severity, if you wanted to use a more
normal person
term.
word.
Yeah. Accessibility.
Okay. Okay.
Once again, there's another word called recuperability, or you could say recoverability. The ability to recover from potential attack or disaster.
Okay.
V is vulnerability. Or how do we determine vulnerability? I call it an opportunity.
Okay.
Right? But it's their vulnerability. It's my opportunity. Right?
Okay.
Effect is E.
Okay.
So what's the effect of disruption to that site or disruption to your business? And recognizability.
Okay.
This is kind of a weird one, but it's basically you're evaluating the likelihood that potential adversaries, or in business competitors, would recognize the assets that you have as critical or a valuable target.
Okay.
There you go. So is what you are doing recognizable potential target to competitors.
Okay. So give me like secret squirrel, Navy SEAL. I've got a satellite antenna on a peninsula that is beaming Dr. Strangelove data to the enemy in Eastern Europe.
Okay.
What would you do?
Yeah, so you would take a look at that, and you would really, first one's kind of important, because is this really worth us doing a mission to go destroy?
Okay.
Right? Is this a valuable enough target to risk lives to destroy, or can we just drop a bomb on it?
Okay. All right. So is it worth it?
Yeah, is it worth it?
Okay.
Accessibility. That one just depends on that target's security.
Okay.
Depends on the target's manning, manpower, you name it, and just ease to get to that target. Are you going to drive it? Are you going to have to helicopter? Or can you have to walk it? Is it all uphill? Is it through a swamp? All those little access routes to it are very important.
Okay.
Recoverability. If you destroy this target, how easy will it be for the enemy to quickly recover?
Okay.
Or do they?
Okay.
Vulnerability. Is this a weakness? Are there, routes that are better accessible to it? Is this an opportunity for us by exploiting this weakness that they have, their vulnerability? And how is that? How is destroying this going to hamper their operations?
Okay.
To a point of, significant changes.
So how badly will this hurt them?
Yes.
Okay. And that kind of goes along with the effect thing.
Yeah, kind of, in a way. But the thing about the effect is not only how does this disrupt them, but what are their responses? What are their potential responses after you disrupt them?
Okay.
Can they have another satellite up in a week? Right? Can they recover that quickly? Or are they going to now attack something local to them in revenge? So there's going to be, once you do a response, or I should say, once you do a certain action, there's going to be a response to that action. And you try to figure out what's the likelihood of them coming back and doing something.
Okay. So what are the after effects? What's the fallout going to be?
Yeah. Would they even know it was us that did it?
Okay. Okay.
All right. And recognizability. This is basically evaluate the likelihood that potential adversaries would recognize the asset as a critical or valuable target. That's basically just say, yes, this is a recognizable target for us. When we destroy this, it will, send shockwaves throughout that country and community that they just lost something very significant.
Okay. So, will they suffer in public? It's kind of like, we know we did this, but, is anybody else going to know? Are they going to keep it a secret? Is it going to cause a problem? Okay.
Right.
So, and then the other thing on this is basically there's a scoring system that goes with this. Usually, what is it, 1 to 5? Or
yeah, I think 1 to 7, as I recall.
All right, we'll keep it easy. 1 to 5.
Yeah.
So then what happens is you score this. So you 1 to 7. 1 is low.
Let me see.
And 5 is high. We'll just do 1 to 5. So
you may be right. I'm looking right now.
So what you're looking for is the thing that's going to give you the highest number. Because how critical is this? Is it worth it? Okay, if it's a 5, then that's a good thing. if it's how accessible is it? How can we get there easily? Well, it's a 1 because it's behind 8 freaking miles of barbed wire and dogs and other stuff, and we don't have a tractor beam. So recuperability, if we do this, how easily can they recover if it's a 4? Okay.
Yeah.
So then vulnerability, as far as how good of an opportunity is, it's a 2 compared to something else. And what are the after effects? The after effects, if we do this, are going to be a 5. And then recognizability, let's say it's a low or high, let's say it's a 3. So this particular one has a 5 + 1, 6, 10, 12, 17. This one has a 20. So then let's say we're looking at the McDonald's. We're going to attack the McDonald's in downtown Moscow, okay? Critical, yep, that's a 5. Accessible, they got to drive through. Recuperability, if we do this, how easily can they recover? Not because Ray Kroc's not going to send them stuff. Vulnerability, how good an opportunity is this? How badly it will hurt them? They won't have any more Big Macs. Effect, what's the after effects? Well, they're going to be pissed, but there's nothing they can do about it. We'll call it a 4. And then recognizability, likelihood they'll suffer in public, that's a 5. So this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 24, 29. So instead of attacking the satellite, we're going to blow up McDonald's. So that's how that matrix, that type of an evaluation matrix works. And what is that valid? I mean, I'm not saying we're going to attack McDonald's in Moscow, but
right. No, I've seen it a couple different ways, and you're right. The reason why we were a little vague on the numbering scale is I've seen it because it's been altered for many reasons. The targeting aspect might be a 1 to 10, but in business, I've seen it change from 5 to 7 as well. So, and each one of those numbers has like a level of pain that's associated with it.
So back when you were when you were secret squirreling, we didn't have the kind of drone capability we do now. So it was like guys had to do it instead of droning it from a Connex box in Nevada.
Right.
Okay, so here's how I adapted this for entrepreneurial stuff. And this is kind of the way that I've looked at it. I've just figured the 1 to 5 is easier, at least for me.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah. You do it however you want.
So what I try and do is have an evaluation criteria. Let's say I've got a whole bunch of different things that I want to do. So let's say I want to start a blog. Let's say I want to create a product. And let's say I want to do affiliate. I want to promote an affiliate product. No, you know what? We're going to do this a little differently. Let's say that I want to, I have the opportunity to promote an affiliate product. I have the opportunity to create my own product. And let's say that I can do a webinar to sell a coaching program. All right, so these are things that I can do. So now I got this matrix where I'm going to evaluate things on several criteria. All right, and I'm going to make it relatively simple because it doesn't have to be overly crazy. Let me scoop this down. So the first thing that I'm looking at up here is just plain how easy is this for me to do this? How easy is it for me as far as effort to do this? The next thing I'm going to evaluate is cost as far as money, then cost as far as time, And actually not cost, but how fast can I get a result? Okay. Do I have resources I need? And then one thing that I don't think a lot of people think about is how much fun or enjoyment am I going to get? Okay, because you're going to do stuff that you're going to enjoy. You're not going to do shit that you don't enjoy. Honestly, excuse my French. So the thing, and just doing it from 1 to 5. Okay, one is low, 5 is high. Okay, so I'm going to promote an affiliate product to my list. Okay, how easy is this? Well, it's real easy because all I got to do is just send some emails and get people to show up. The cost to me is low. So here's the thing. If it's a 5, okay, here's the thing. On the ease and effort, 5 is low effort.
Yeah, five is where you want to be. Like right. Five is a positive, 1 is a negative.
Right. So this is going to cost, as far as cost, it's going to be a 5. Right. Fast result, yeah. I can send an email and I'm going to know whether I'm going to make money or not. Resources on hand. Now, I have a list, but if I didn't have a list, if I have with a list, I have a list of followers, I have distribution, it's a 5. If I have no list, I have no following, I have no tribe, it's a freaking 0.
Right.
It's crap.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You know, is it a 5 or is it a 0? And then fun and enjoyment, honestly, 2. Yeah. I mean, it's like,
yeah, hey, affiliate marketing is not a lot of fun.
Right.
It's fun whenever checks come in, though.
Yeah, but then as soon as you deposit the check and life moves on, 10 minutes later, you're like, whatever.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
So, okay, so create my own product. All right, creating a product, ease of effort, that's going to be, you know, depending on what I'm doing, minimum, that's going to be like a 2.
Yeah, that's, yeah,
all right?
Between 2 and 3 for sure.
Right. Cost. Now, cost in, you know, time and money, and this can be money and time and, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, cost, not a high cost in dollars, but a pretty high cost in time, even knowing what the heck I know. Okay. So we'll call that a 3. Fast result. Okay. Got to do a whole bunch of stuff and put this together. Yes, I know I'm Jim Edwards and all that crap, but still that's like a 3. Okay.
I would agree.
Resources on hand, 5. I got anything and everything I need. I got anything and everything I need to make anything. Fun and enjoyment, that's going to be a 5. I love doing that. Okay.
I would agree.
Now, do a webinar to sell a coaching program. How hard is that going to be? Not hard. Okay. I'll probably, okay, let's put that as a 4. I mean, I got to come up with the webinar and stuff, but I know what to do. Right. All right. Cost and time and money. Not a lot of cost and time and money because I just got to put the thing together, send an email out, boom, done. Okay. Fast result. That's a 5. I'm going to know. I'm going to know right then whether anybody's signing up or not. Resources on hand. Got them. How much am I going to enjoy that? There's some stuff involved in that, but I'm still, let's say it's a 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, now, a 6th column, Jim, would be profitability.
Yes, sir. You know what? I was just going to say, Stu, we really need a 6th column called profitability.
If we're going to like relate this to Carver Method, you got to add the ability in there.
Right. Okay. I like it. And you're right. How profitable will this be? So, this is why Okay, and profitability can be money. It can be
members following you, adding
yeah,
to your list.
yeah.
Yeah.
Clicks, subscribers, tribe, all that good stuff. All right, good thought. So profitability for the affiliate thing, I'd give that like about a 3. You know, could be big. I mean, I've won affiliate contests before and gotten Rolexes and stuff like that. I mean, could be a 3, 4. The funny thing is, I didn't even take the Rolex. I said, "Give me the money. I don't want the watch. I already got one." So I'll give that a 3. You know, maybe 4.
Yeah.
You know, just depending. The thing is, when you really want to promote an affiliate thing, there's other stuff, like if you're going to do all your own bonuses and other things like that. I mean, that can add a bunch of effort, which really, you know, if I think about it, I go all out. So I'm going to give that a 3. Okay. Because I always go all out. Okay. Own product. This could be a 5. I mean, that could be absolutely massive with your own product. You do it right. And then finally, webinar with coaching. Again, that can be a 5, especially if it's high ticket coaching. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, what's the single most profitable thing you sell? Your PT club, right?
Yeah,
Most
as far as
expensive
money,
Right.
but the time involved in that's a little more than selling a ebook that requires no effort.
We'll give it a 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, all right, 3, 8, 13, 18, 20, 24. So 24 for the affiliate thing. All right. So 2, 5, 8, 13, 18, 23. All right. 4, 9, 14, 19, 23, 28. Okay. So according to this, I should do a webinar to promote a high ticket coaching program. So a lot of times when we have all these different things that we could be doing, it's like you got this massive list on your wall or on your whiteboard where there's all this stuff that you could be, should be doing. All of a sudden you can't bring, nothing's happening. It's like, it's January, it's February, it's March, it's April, it's May. I haven't done jack. That's because you have not focused on one thing, like the magnifying glass, focusing the rays of the sun on the log long enough to get it to catch fire, where it'll burn up in a few hours, as opposed to 30 years with no real focus on it. What this allows you to do is figure out and evaluate something, choose it for other than just knee-jerk reaction, to throw some logic and some other stuff, you know, the enjoyment and the fun thing. And this is important. This is something I don't think people think about, because you aren't going to do something that sucks and that you hate for very long. You might do it for long enough to keep from getting kicked out of your house, but as soon as that pressure's gone, you're just going to have that up and down and up and down and up and down.
And hey, Jim, another one you could add, and sorry to do this to you, is what do you think your market is willing to do? Like what you know, which one is your market? We can call it marketability.
How about, well, why don't we call it market accessibility?
There you go.
How easily can you find the people to sell to? Now that, again, dang it, Stu, come on, man. I'm running out of roomage.
Well, I mean, sometimes you have to apply this to your market. You know, one of these 3 options, you know, your market may be more accessible to the affiliate marketing, but it may also like you so much it wants to see your smiling face on a webinar.
Right. But I think it's how easily can you get into the market? I mean, it's market accessibility, I think, is what were you saying? Marketability, market accessibility.
Sure.
Okay.
Because at some point you have to also assess your market. I mean, that's a given.
So market interest plus access, and really those could probably be two separate things as well. What kind of market interest is there, and what kind of access do I have in the market? So you know what, we're gonna split this one. All right, no, that makes perfect sense. And that again is going to dictate some stuff. So if we So in this case, now let's keep going. Promoting an affiliate thing, is the market interested? If I have a list, I've got access. All I have to do is just send an email or put something up on Facebook. Is the market interested? Well, here's the thing. Maybe only a portion for a particular thing, maybe only a portion of my market is interested in. Like the publisher rocket. Now, my copywriting people don't give a rat's patoo. Unless I can show them how what that software does helps them with writing copy. Then all of a sudden it could go way up, but you don't know. So let's say it's a 3.
And with some bonuses, they may be really interested.
Yeah, absolutely. A training on how to use the tool for market research. Absolutely. Create your own product. Again, access to the market, depending on how segmented your market is, but let's say a 4. And interest, that's the one where you're kind of like, hey,
this is a gamble.
This is kind of a gamble, so maybe this one's a 3.
Yep.
And then webinar and coaching, there's stuff you can do to increase that. But let's say, hey, I got this thing. I think I have this thing dialed in because I've done this webinar a bunch of times. Okay, then the number's going to go up. But if you've never done the webinar before, then it's going to be potentially low. So we'll say that's a 2. But access, again, I got a 5. So now we add 7 to this one becomes 35. We add 7 to this one becomes 30. And then we add 8 to this one becomes 32. And, that's a lot closer now. So then you start thinking creatively, okay, maybe what I need to do is do one of these, do this one first, and then throw an affiliate offer into the follow-up funnel, which is exactly what I did with 7-Day Ebook, and we've been crushing it with the follow-up on that. So it's evaluating these things, spotting these targets of opportunity, and then thinking strategically about how could I arrange them. But don't worry about this one until you've got this one nailed.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you got to be careful of is bias of, as you're going along, you're like, well, I really want to do this one, so I'm going to kind of skew the numbers a little bit. You gotta, this one, you gotta have a degree of honesty with yourself about what's really going on, because otherwise you can just skew it and do the crap you wanted to do anyway. But
right, waste your time.
Well, but yeah, are you wasting your time? I don't know, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Now where this is also valuable.
What
is assessing your own business?
Ooh.
Right, as like using the Carver method. Right, assessing your own business as like disaster recovery, for instance. How weak am I when it comes to critical systems going down? Like, for instance, whenever you had a vulnerability with Facebook, your response was to find another opportunity with figuring out the system that you don't have to rely on a live webinar that's scheduled with Facebook, because you figured out a way to use it with Vimeo and go right to your website.
Yeah. And
and like, for instance, if the internet goes down, how does that affect your business?
I have learned over the last few weeks that I can survive off my Verizon hotspot.
Oh yeah, me too.
I
Yep.
can actually even still do Zoom and teach Zoom stuff. I even got a new thingy here that allows me to hold my phone in such a way that people can see the board behind me, and I can do my ghetto version of it. So yeah, that absolutely. And what this made me think of is you need to look at your business as an enemy or a competitor. And you could use this to evaluate your business and see where you're vulnerable in a whole bunch of ways. But then you could also use this to look at your competitors and evaluate how you could attack them and destroy them.
Yeah.
Where are they vulnerable? Where are they vulnerable, and how does that create an opportunity for me?
Yep. You know where I see people that are making their business vulnerable? And this is really a common sense thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like on their social media,
Mm-hmm.
when they start arguing politics, religion, and things like that on a branded page, or even if it's your own personal one, I mean, you're going to start having people unfollow you.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the business of right wing or left wing politics.
Right.
Then you can have a consolidation of that half of the population. But it's just a mess out there. And I've seen people ruin their businesses with that.
Yeah. And no one cares. That's the other thing. It's nobody cares. And the only people that care are the people that want to use it as a way to destroy you. They just want to destroy you for their own nefarious reasons.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely the case. So
as soon as I see it happening, I'm just like,
there he goes.
I'm probably not going to do business with that guy because
he won't be in business.
He won't be in business much longer, and plus it's going to isolate me from half the segment of population that I perhaps would like to do business with.
Right. So just put pictures of your dog up, sunset,
that's all I do.
Other stuff like that, and just leave it alone. So I think the Jim and Stu show and the podcast became one today, which is fine. So. I think this is something that everybody really needs to cogitate on. Cogitate's a great word I learned in high school, 11th grade English class, which means to think thoughtfully and come up with your own ideas through rumination. Hey man, they learned us those words for a reason. I hung on to them. I figured, what the heck? Somebody must think these words are important. There's 635,000 of them in the English language. These are the ones they wanted me to learn. Most people don't have an evaluation criteria for anything they do in their business beyond, am I going to make money from this week? And most of us have been trained to let other people make decisions for us in the form of a boss who gets their orders from someone above them, who gets their orders from someone above them, until finally it gets to some Howard Hughes-like character who's standing in a movie theater, urinating in milk jugs, just making weird decisions. You have to learn how to think for yourself. You have to learn how to make decisions yourself. One of the most valuable things ever happened to me was majoring in history. Why? Because history forced me to take a whole bunch of disparate thoughts and be able to put them into a sequence and make an argument about that, and to come up with original thoughts, support those thoughts, and draw conclusions from them. It also was more fun than figuring out accounting. So there were better, anyway, there were better
outsource accounting. Outsource your accounting.
There were better looking girls in the history department than in the business school. Okay. So I'm comfortable with drawing my own conclusions from stuff, but now having a system so that it kind of gets rid of some bias is going to make a huge difference for you. And so I'm excited that we dug this back out and dusted it off, because I used to use my adaptation of this a lot, and I kind of got away from it.
Yeah,
But
it's old school. You know where I saw it get dug back out?
Where's that?
After 9/11.
Really?
Everybody was assessing their business.
Okay.
Everybody was assessing not only the actual business itself, but potential other attacks that could affect their business, whether it was structurally, like your own building, or it was, software, internet connections, all of those things. And my biggest recommendation on this is assess your vulnerabilities, like know your weaknesses, know your strengths too. What's your strengths? What's your weaknesses? I tell this to guys going into spec ops programs as well. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses. Try to better develop those weaknesses so they are no longer weaknesses, but also have a disaster recovery plan where you could, your computer goes down, you have a backup laptop. Your internet goes down, you have a hotspot on your iPhone, or you go to Starbucks down the street. Whatever your answer is, as long as you can keep working without a hitch, other than maybe a minor delay, that's valuable. And to be able to have those options ready to go when needed, so you don't have to develop them on the spot, is very comforting to when that happens.
Absolutely. So what would be a disaster close the loop on that, like with the guys when they're going through buds or they're going through SQT or something like that? What would be an example of disaster recovery, knowing your strengths and weaknesses? And
well, you definitely have to develop it. We'll put it this way. If you have a known weakness going into these programs, it will be exposed in the first week.
Okay.
100%. However, as long as that weakness is developed to a point where it's meeting a certain standard, maybe all you have to do is bring your A game to that event. Though some other people may not have to try as hard as you to meet that standard because it's not that much of a weakness to them. You just have to bring that next level mindset. All right, I got to bring my A game to this next event because it's a 4-mile run and I'm barely passing. I might have a minute under, but I got to bring my A game just to get that minute. Whereas some other dude, it's like, oh, easy, man, I'll just jog this, right?
Right.
Still meet the standard. So it's going to be different for everybody. It really depends. The backup plan, there really doesn't need to be a backup plan. Your backup plan has to be a very strong and determined why. Why are you doing this? Why are you going down this route to subject yourself to this level of training and pain and failure and success? And it was just a journey. So your backup plan is really either success or failure.
So
right?
what would you?
There's no real backup plan.
Right. Unlike, I guess, once you're in, then you have backup plans for backup plans for backup plans.
Well, yeah. Once you've reached that goal, then there's the next level goal and the next level goal, and there are obviously different routes you can choose, to still continue your career. Just it may not be your original plan.
Right. So then the question becomes, what is your reaction to people who say, I don't have to learn how to write sales copy, I just hire somebody to do that? I don't have to create content, I'll just hire somebody to do that.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad answer. I mean, I hire my accountant to do my taxes. So there are some things in the business world that you're going to have to outsource, right? If you choose to outsource sales copy, it's kind of your business. If it's working for you, you want to spend that extra money, go ahead. I personally do not. I don't think I've ever hired anybody to write sales copy for me. And it probably shows. I mean, I'm a very amateur sales copy guy, but I'm learning. And that has been a more fun journey than me just outsourcing it and ignoring it. So that's my philosophy anyway when it comes to some things you need to outsource, some things you probably don't want to because it may be fun for you to practice.
Can you outsource fitness?
Well, I guess you can. You can outsource fitness instruction. You can't take a pill and be fit. You can't hire somebody to do your push-ups, but yes, you could definitely outsource fitness as a training option.
Right. So the thing is, there's some stuff you can't outsource, and there's some stuff you just have to know how to do yourself. Now, whether you have, I'm a firm believer that you better be able to write decent copy, even if you're not the one writing it, because then you'll know whether it's any good or not. Same thing with content. How do you know what good content is if you don't know, how to create it, or at least understand the patterns, at a minimum, understanding the patterns for it. So, there's some, at some point, the whole outsourcing myth kind of falls on its butt to a degree.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So just something to think about. That I have outsourced sales copy. I've outsourced a lot of it, but then I'm the one who's editing it, and I'm the one who's seeing if it's any good, if it's in the right voice. I'm the one that's rounding the edges off of it, making it use the words that my people use, as opposed to someone with a surface level of understanding does. Same thing with content. I will outsource some editing. If I'm really in a big hurry and it's like, okay, I'm going to get this. My thoughts are here. Now I need somebody else to do the editing of it. And then I'll take one last look at it. There's different aspects of it, but at some point you have to be the one who does the push-ups. At it, though, you can have somebody stand there going 1, 1, 1, 1. It's like, I must be doing these wrong. But you're still the one pushing them out, and you got to be able to do a certain level yourself if it's going to be your business. Otherwise, just outsource the whole thing, and it's like you're buying scratch tickets down at the 7-Eleven. It's like, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but I'm just throwing money at it and hoping that it does. So
nice.
Okay. Well, this was good, Stu. Nice work. This was I enjoyed this. This was real good. So thank you.
I like this. If you have any
what the heck's going on?
I don't know. Something fell back there. I will say that if you have any interest in like the prepping community and survival stuff, I mean, this is fun for me. I enjoy assessing my weaknesses and having backup plans and contingencies, and then where it's really cool is when your contingencies just flow right into the plan like it was well organized.
Yeah.
Like when we lose power here, I go into like prepper mode. Right. And I got everything going. I got my backup generators. I got, everything, water, firewood. I'm ready to go. Cooking on the grill. Yeah, I'm ready.
Make me think of that picture or that thing with, I think it's John Goodman or whatever. There's this gangster. And he's like, I'm ready. Power's out. I'm ready. But that is true. I mean, like, I literally have on my desk right here next to my laptop, I have the backup laptop. The backup laptop's ready to go at all times. I got extra monitors in case one goes down. I got extra backup battery stuff, for the things. I got the whole house generator. I got the 2 Honda portable generators in case the whole house generator goes out. I got multi, what do you call it when it can run off of propane or it can run off of gas. Getting ready to have a wood stove put in and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, I like it too. It's like, bring it on. The only thing
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The one thing I'm screwed on is if there's ever a hurricane. At that point, it's okay. Bye. I'll see you. I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I will say this. Whenever we were discussing at the end of the year last year about, doing some updates to your business,
Yeah.
like I changed my wall, I got another monitor, I got a new laptop, I was just ready for, not only just expanding the business, but also preparing backups,
Right.
opportunities, and, even updated my computer when I didn't need to. Right. And so now I have a computer ready to go as a backup. That was my old computer that I used just last month, that I got a new computer system for now.
Right.
So, don't wait until your computer completely dies. Right. Use that old computer as a backup, update, if it's been a couple years, update.
Yeah.
And you can at least in an
Function.
emergency have that backup computer ready to roll whenever hard drives fail or something, or motherboards fail.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. All right, man. Good show. Good show. I enjoyed that. So we appreciate everybody joining us. And we will see you next time for the Jim and Stu show. Everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.